House to Home, presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Day, boys and girls. Welcome to House to Home. We are talking about four-letter phrases today. I'm Jason from KUAM. There's a four-letter phrase. Liz and Gina are from RDRG, Remax Diamond Realty, Guam, right? And the other four-letter phrase we want to talk about is FSBO, right? For sale by owner. Everybody sees those signs around a lot, but Liz, let's start with you. Is it really possible for somebody to take a piece of property they want, put it to market, list it, and then actually get like a deal that they're satisfied with?
So there are owners who sometimes want to try to sell the property themselves. So we've had owners, and we refer to them as FSBOs, for sale by owner. And and when they are not successful, then of course they would say, okay, I'd like you to list my property and put it on the market for sale. So for sale by owner is an owner who places a property on the market for sale. They don't want to work with a broker. They want to deal with buyers that come directly to them. And these type transactions, you have to bear in mind that the seller is dictating what they want. And if the buyer does not have an agent representing them, the buyer may not be aware of, what the process is about.
Conditions, shall we say?
Conditions.
Yeah, so is it typically is it typically that the seller may say, like, okay, well, I'm leaving the island, or I've got, I need to come up with cash quick, so I'm just trying to get this deal done really, really fast, or quite simply, are they a control freak?
Well, if the seller's doing that, the other thing for a potential buyer is if the seller is asking $500,000, for example, is that the market value? And who is going to guide the buyer to determine, well, if I pay $500,000 and they want cash and I have it, is that the market value for that property? So if I'm an agent representing a buyer, I would normally look at the market, check our MLS to see what the data is of what the current market value is. So the market value could be $400,000, but a particular seller wants $500,000. So yeah, if you're not educated enough to call and ask for guidance or get some information, and you're dealing directly with a seller, there could be some issues that crop up as a result. We've had situations, and it's not necessarily all the time, but we've had situations where buyers would work directly with the seller, and we've had stories where the seller would take monies and then the deal would not go through. So yeah, buyer beware.
There's a little bit of sketchiness you have to be aware of. We're not indicting anybody who has done the FSBO model before. We're just like, buyer beware, maybe.
Yeah, just buyer beware, educate yourself. And if you're going to deal with a seller, no problem, but ask for some guidance. Try to get some information to educate yourself before you move forward with that.
And then the other, please,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
And the other thing is, what contracts are they using? And the verbiage in the contract, you'd have to be aware. And again, someone has to guide you unless you have an attorney to help you through the process or a realtor to help you. But then even the realtor has to be advised that they're working directly with the seller and that the seller is not paying a commission, because of course, real estate agents get their professional fees from working a transaction.
Right. Now, Gina, I always thought when I was a kid that, whenever you saw those signs like at vacant properties that says for sale by owner, that was either somebody that said they wanted a little bit more larger slice of the pie from that transaction, or again, they just wanted a really, really fast turnaround, even if they got like a little bit less of the pie. They just, like I said, they may have to come up with cash quick. Do you find that to be the case on Guam more often?
I don't know if it's necessarily about finding the cash or getting the cash quick. I think it's more about the C word. They're trying to save and not pay a commission.
Okay.
And I think what sellers need to be yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to clarify what the C word meant.
Yeah. As a broadcaster, that scares me.
Don't worry, Jason.
Thank you.
A lot of sellers go, they believe that selling it as a FSBO, for sale by owner, is advantageous to them because they feel like they're going to save some money. But what they don't understand, what they're not appreciating, is the fact that when you work with a real estate professional, we show you what the marketplace is doing. We have a visual on what's happening throughout the island from our database. And we even are responsible for some of the for sale by owners who actually see the benefit. Okay, we're selling, I'm selling it directly, but I want to use my trusted realtor to put the transaction together. So we do a lot of transactions where we report the sale after the fact because the owner already had a buyer, and they would come to us and say, okay, guys, I have the buyer already. We just want you to facilitate the deal. Let's negotiate on the commission, but can you start, can you take this from start to finish? And what they're looking for is they're looking for somebody who could guide the buyer as well. Because let's face it, as a seller, you want to have a successful transaction with your buyer. Your buyer and you want the same thing. If you're a buyer and you've already elected to buy this particular house that the seller wants to sell, you're both working towards the same goal, and so is your realtor. So our job is to provide you advice. As I mentioned, we can see the overall picture in the market. So I've had sellers come to me and say, this is what I want. And for one reason or another, I've given them the data and we've come up with a different price. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but that price comes from the data. We look at the data and we say, okay, this is what the data is showing. Now, if you go with the price you're in, what's going to happen to you? So if we look at the data really tells you what people are willing to pay for a home like yours. And that data is valuable because unless your buyer's paying cash, which is maybe 5 to 10% of the market, everybody else is getting a loan. And the appraiser who gets involved in behalf of the lender for the buyer's sake, they're going to be looking at appraisal report. I mean, they're going to be preparing the appraisal. They're going to be looking at the same data that we're going to show you. So pricing is critical. That's what we offer. And then the next step is we do guide both buyer and seller to successfully close the deal, which is what all FSBOs want, right?
Now mentioning tools, Liz mentioned a couple moments ago, MLS, right? The multi-listing service. Is that a tool that is exclusively available? I mean, anybody can go on there and browse. I mean, it's a web-based tool. So I could go on and see what listings are available, but to be able to actually put a listing there and have it stand among all the other listings, is this something that you have to be a licensed broker to do?
You have to be a part of the Guam Association of Realtors to be part of the multiple listing service. And that is accessible by realtors. And that is like our Bible. We go to it. It's our reference tool to check on market values. And that's what we utilize in terms of also doing our comparative market analysis and pricing properties. So the public can look and browse through the website to look at properties and prices, but in terms of looking at the back end of the site that shows which properties have sold, what they sold for, how many days were on the market, that is data that's available strictly to the realtors. Now, the other thing I want to point out is if you're working with a for sale by owner, the other thing is if you're not working with a realtor or getting some guidance, you want to make sure too that the property is registered under that particular seller. So we normally go through a process where we request for a title research that would tell us who is the current owner of that property. Now, someone may come to you and say, okay, I want to sell you this piece of property, give me cash and we're done, and we'll get the paperwork. But if the property is not recorded under that particular seller's name, then you know, there's a big issue there. The unsuspecting buyer could have gone into a transaction, given some monies, and then there could be some issues. And that's why, as Gina puts it, it's critical to work with an experienced licensed realtor to assist you in the buying process, whether it's a for sale by owner or whether you've looked through the website and you like a piece of property. You know, we're there to help and guide the buyer.
There you go. So if final thought, Gina, if I may analogize for a moment, right? So it's kind of like, I can kind of see this like if I was going to go to the gym, right? And I wanted to get in shape and I've never been to the gym before, there's nothing wrong with me going up to some, you know, weight machine or apparatus or free weights and everything like that and just doing it on my own, or maybe reading a book or two or going online and Googling like how to get in shape. That's fine. But if I actually spent the money and took the time to actually work with a fitness coach, I'm probably going to get like a much better deal in a lower amount of time. Is that correct?
You definitely would get better results.
There you go.
And,
Results.
and
Thank you.
unlike the gym, you can really hurt yourself going in there and playing with all that equipment if you don't
Great
know what
point.
you're doing. You know, I've seen people in here get hurt, you know, because they overdid it, didn't know what they were doing, inexperienced. So yeah, I mean, that's the reason you go to professionals if you want professional results. You wouldn't pull your teeth out yourself, would you?
I'm going to go ahead and plead the fifth on the fact that I may or may not know people that have tried that before. And those, you know, the whole thing about tie the string and then tie it to like the door and then never mind. That's a completely different.
I know my grandkids all under 12 do that, Jace, but I would think that as we get older and more wiser,
there you go.
that we try to do it ourselves.
Do you have any orthodontists that you have as clients right now? They may be watching this and they're like, no, guys. Actually, we're helping out their business too. Go see your realtor, go see your dentist, go see your fitness trainer and everything. Like the right tool for the right job.
No, you know, Liz and I, we strongly promote the idea that you go to a professional when you want good results.
Yes,
No
that's
matter who
right.
that professional is, like professional advertising. Look, we go to Jace, go to KUIM.
Hey, wow. Okay, before we go, I just want to say, speaking of professional, the zombie run this weekend that you guys put on from the Children's Ark, absolutely fantastic. Bang up. There it is. It was an amazing event. I was just so honored to be able to be there and to make social media videos for you guys. It was absolutely incredible. And we're really helping some people that need it.
We want to thank all the sponsors that helped with the event, as well as those who contributed to make the event very successful. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. All right, ladies, thank you once
So
again.
much fun. Thank you, Jace.
House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.